Right, so good evening and welcome back to Cannon Fodder. The Easy Talk is going to be a feature-length version. And Colin,
Yeah.
there's 2 more games to go. We're in 5th in the league. It's dark out there, and almost all of us are wearing sunglasses. That line sounds familiar. That's the Blues Brothers. If you haven't, really kind of figured it out. But back in the house this evening, we've got Tops. Tops, what's happening, man?
Yeah, nothing much, man. Thanks for having me back on. Good to be back. And after a win as well. Thank God, after the last week we've just had, absolutely from hell. So, glad to be back, bro.
Wicked. RAZ.
Yes.
All right, man. What's going on with the hat, man?
Well, listen, I had this hat out in Spain with my daughter. It must be about 2008, 9. And I missed out on you guys when you had your hat session. So I thought, let me just get a funky hat in as well as the glasses. So that's how I roll, man. You know me. Just do something weird and wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, you got love, bro.
Colin, man, what's happening?
The belt is in the building. If you don't like the belt, know that I do. We're all good out here. And besides that, Raz did a great job with the voice of reason Wednesday night. But just know the real voice of reason's in the building. All right. So I've taken that off Raz's shoulders a little bit.
Okay. So are you going to put the belt up? Are you going to put the belt up then, Colin?
Wait, this belt is mine. You ain't got nothing on it. Oh shit! Oh god!
Actually, gets me to the segue. Colin, I want to thank you, for the work that you did on the Voice of Reason. Hopefully, we'll see you back quite soon, fairly soon, if ever.
Yeah.
You'll see me back soon on the Voice of Reason. Don't worry, guys. I've not forgotten about you. I've not forgotten about you whatsoever.
Wicked.
But the thing is, right, with things have just things outside of YouTube, let's say, have taken precedent. All right, that's all that is. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah,
but
that's no problem, man.
Just know I'm not gone permanently. And look, if people want to get in touch with me, they know what my Twitter is. Feel free to tweet me, or hell, if you want to get in touch with me on my channel, just leave something in the comments, bro.
Yeah. And always, at the end of the show, I'll leave the link for Tops. You can follow Tops on his Twitter handle. Tops, is there anywhere else that people can get hold of you apart from Twitter? Do you have any other ways?
I've got Instagram as well, Brandon Tops. If you want to follow me on there too. Just hit me up on either, man, and it's all good. And obviously, Arsenal Match TV has still got that Twitter as well. If you want to hit me up on there for Arsenal stuff as well. So, yeah, man, just hit me up wherever.
Okay, is that shit coming back, Tops?
I don't know, man. Maybe. I see how I feel, man. I mean, maybe next season they might have to make a swift return. I'm not sure yet. So, stay tuned.
I'm still waiting for Arsenal and Chill. Colin.
Do you know what, though, right?
Come on, man.
I mean, okay, me and Tops, we have talked about this, right? In fact, I discussed it with him on, was it WhatsApp, Tops?
Yeah.
With my situation, working, full time and, running a Football Manager channel, which, by the way, lads, a lot harder than you think. So, and with Tops' situation, him working 2 jobs, was it, Tops?
Yeah.
So it's just difficult to find the time. But the minute we do, right, we'll communicate about it here and there. And, it might be an audio form. Who knows? We might put it on SoundCloud, and who knows? We might distribute it to the masses and stuff. But just know the original Arsenal and Chill, not them frauds that took our name and put it on their own Twitter. Fuck them. So, there you go.
That's another story for another day anyway.
Indeed it is.
Anyway, so it was David Rocastle's birthday. It would have been his 52nd birthday yesterday. And the coincidence was it was the match, the first leg against Valencia. And anyone who saw my pre-match video I did outside the stadium, I wasn't too hopeful. I wasn't, because it's on the back of 3 defeats. 3 bloody away defeats. And I was wondering, where the hell are we going to get a win against Valencia? Tops, do you think David Rocastle would have been happy to see the way that Arsenal played against Valencia?
Yeah, I think he would have been. I think it was a fitting tribute for him. Obviously, a fantastic player to lose him so early on, and an Arsenal legend to say the least. But yeah, I think they definitely did him proud and did the team and as well as the fans justice, because that last week was absolutely abysmal. Honestly, not good. Conceding 9 goals against 3 teams where, let's be honest with you, we should be beating in terms of where we want to get to. If you want to get top 4, you've got to be going to places like Leicester and Wolves and getting a result, and especially Crystal Palace at home. That was the most disappointing out of the 3. And yeah, the fact that we defended so atrociously, and our away performances, it just looked like none of the players showed any effort or fight. We conceded the first goal in them games and just gave up. Was disappointing, but I think the team finally bounced back, and it was a very tough game, because I do rate Valencia. I think they're a very, very good team, and we've seen early on when we were sloppy in the first 15 to 20 minutes. I thought with our passes and the way we were trying to play, Valencia capitalised on it, and they were very quick in the transition in the counter attack. And yeah, they should have scored more than 1, to be honest with you. Missed an open goal. Obviously, they had to start that check parried as well. And then the corner and the 2 free headers. The marking for that goal was absolutely atrocious. 2 free headers in our box. And we were deservedly losing at that point because we had been poor. At Valencia, they had been great to their credit. But I thought what I did like was the fight back and the showing of character from the team. The fact that we were 1-0 down and we didn't let that get us down, and the fact that we got back into the game and we ended up winning the game 3-1, and it could have been more with the chances we missed. And happy for Lacazette and Aubameyang to try and get on the score sheet, because there had been a few games since they both had scored. So for me, it was a great team performance. I thought the work rate from those 2 strikers set the tone for the team, and I thought Lacazette was absolutely fantastic. Aubameyang as well, off the ball movement, closing down, tracking back. That's what we want to see as fans, but just if it's not going for you in terms of a technical ability, that your work ethic is still as high as it can be. And I think they set the tone for the team to carry on and working hard. And we went out comfortable winners, really, and deserved the victory. So, yeah, I think David Rocastle will be proud. And hopefully it's a step to get to a European final, first time since 2006. So fingers crossed we can do it, mate. I hope for the best.
Good assessment. Raz, what's your thoughts? Do you think old Rocky Rocastle would have been happy to see how Arsenal performed against Valencia?
Well, I still got that picture of Rocky Rocastle when they were about to beat Liverpool, and he was looking at the players on the pitch, and they had that, come on, let's get in there, kind of still fight spirit. I've got that picture. I can see him in my mind's eye now, actually. And I think that he would have been absolutely elated with the way that the lads performed last night. It's something that's we see is lacking. That's got to be a consistent way to play against teams. And as I mentioned, what's the reason? I don't want to be disrespectful, but in the past, when we've gone to Leicester, when we've had to take points off lesser teams, we've done that. We went in. It wasn't about swagger. It was all about, right, we've got to go in and get the points. And we did that. And somewhere along that team in the past to now, that still tends to just turn up when we least expect it, when really we should be having it, week in, week out. And if you remember, Alex, when we was at the Emirates, I said to you that when you come out from the entrance and you're on the pitch, how can you not be motivated? You're at home. That's your home turf. Teams like Valencia should be thinking, flipping out, we're taking them on. I must admit, I wasn't that optimistic. And when we went a goal down, I was thinking, right, well, it seems like we're going to take that away form back at home. And I was vexed. I was thinking, how can we let them do that at home? This is our turf, man. But when they turned it round, hang on, is that who I think it is?
The Godfather has entered the building.
I've beaten the internet. Ow. Ow.
Tell.
I know what went wrong now.
What happened?
You know what it is? I was entering it through my work account.
Yeah.
And there's probably a block on teachers talking to rubbish like you guys, you know. Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. Actually, it's probably the other way around. You shouldn't be talking to me. I'm scum and I'm proud I am.
So does that mean that human resources might be in contact with you at some point then?
I've got a shotgun load here. I'm going round to them. Listen, I don't know if you saw this bit, lads. Did you all see that?
Yeah.
Do you remember me showing you that about 5 years ago? And after that goal went in, I said to the woman, I'm sticking my head right inside this and pulling it tight. Oh, man.
El has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Colin, what's your assessment? What's your assessment about the match last night? Do you think Rocky would have been happy? And did you honestly believe that Arsenal would have pulled off a win?
Firstly, I did think we would.
Really?
And the reason why, it's this logic, right? It's frightening, really. It really is. It's very Arsenal to turn up last night and then drop us against Brighton on the weekend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
From that kind of perspective, I could see us getting a win. I mean, let's not dress it up, right? The last week, right? Rocky Rocastle would have been turning over in his grave if he saw the last week. Like,
I think he'll come round and haunt them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he'll come round and haunt them.
Precisely. And the thing about it is, right, I keep going on about, work ethic, commitment, mentality, right? The last week, I'm not being funny, but those are, without question, the worst Arsenal performances I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
And we are going, and I'm going back many, many years, right? The Leicester performance was absolutely shambolic. The Wolves performance was a disgrace. And the way we just allowed Crystal Palace to boss us at home pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm out of order in thinking that.
No.
And with Valencia, it's just like, yeah, okay, we got the result. Great. I'm happy about that. I'm absolutely happy about that. But do I trust these drop arses to go to Valencia and get a result? No. No, I don't. Do you know why? Performances like Leicester, Wolves, Palace, Southampton, Liverpool. That's why. There's too many to count. I'm sick and tired of these drop arses just fading away whenever they want. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of these fuckers, honestly. Do you know what I mean? It's schoolboy defending. I'm sorry, but you can't defend the first goal. You can't.
No.
I mean, the fact that they've gotten away goal is frustrating. But the fact that they continuously do this on a consistent basis, it's so frustrating, and I don't understand why we do it. I understand the mentality of the old manager is still there. Okay, fine. That should not be an excuse as to why these players drop ours consistently.
But what is the training or the technical team doing about it? You got Steve Bold there.
Mate, Steve Bold does
fuck
all.
I don't understand. I don't understand that when you mess up, say you mess up at Crystal Palace, you got Wolves to come. you know you've got Leicester to come. You see, you know, you've seen the mistakes. You can point the fingers and everything, but to do it literally a couple of days later, and again against Leicester, these people should be put against the wall. To be honest.
Yeah. Listen, guys.
And I'm not about the team. I'm on about the coaching team.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know if you've read it, but if you read the Theo Foley autobiography, it'll give you a massive insight into what happens inside dressing rooms. And he and George Graham, throughout their career, and they were all over the place. They were in Millwall, they were Arsenal. Eventually, it ended up in the boys, the other end of Seven Sisters Road. But they basically said that you have players who will not do it for you. They'll pretend and they'll pick up their paycheck, but when push comes to shove, they're not giving it their best.
But Colin, but why did he continue playing these players?
I don't think he's got anyone else. I don't think
them.
I think his reserves are either young kids or has-beens like Lichtsteiner. I mean, all right, he was a master of the dark arts for about 3 matches, and after that, he just wasn't a master of anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I think these guys, you look at Mkhitaryan, I mean, he did make a difference when he came on.
But he's awful.
I mean, I don't know if you saw this, if you might have watched it on telly or something, but I was there. And at one point, when we had a really good purple patch early-ish in the second half, he went forward with an Arsenal attack. The attack broke down, and instead of sprinting back, he strolled back, and everybody near me, we were right over the top of him. We were screaming at him, get back on side. He had no interest at all, and he wasn't puffed or nothing. He was he's a little rich boy. He's won the World Cup. He's won this. He's won that. And if I was the manager, I would do what Theo Foley did to John Fashanu. He tackled him in the dressing room, I think, when he was playing for him at maybe Millwall. Yeah. And Theo Foley's about 5'6.5".
Yeah,
you know? And he grabbed this bloke, John Fashanu, who's 12th dan at karate, 6 foot 4. And he grabbed him by the throat and pushed him against the dressing room wall because he hadn't been doing it. And he said it was never a problem after that. But I forgot to start the story. Yeah, he was giving him a telling off in the dressing room about not working hard. And he said, if you do that again, I'm dropping you and you're in big trouble. And Fashanu turned to him and said, yeah, and who's going to make me? And that's when he grabbed him. And he said, after that, he could have killed me. Foley said, this guy with one swipe of his hand, I was gone. I was dead. But he said, and it happens, there was another bit where 2 players were one player was accusing another player of not working hard enough. And they ended up dressed in their clothes, having a fist fight in the bathwater. They rolled into the bath, and they're having a fist fight because one player turned on the other and said, "Don't give me baloney. You didn't pull it out." And when I look at that Arsenal team now, as Iman was saying there, 3 matches running, and there was a whole group of them not giving their best. Now I know they're fatigued, I know they're tired, and all of that. But you know what? Leicester shamed us up. Wolves shamed us up. Yeah. Crystal Palace shamed us up. So there's a lot of players there. I mean, the thing is, I really think Emery knows it, and he will get them. They will be gone, and I think they've probably sussed it. I know Mickey's going, and he's probably worked out he's going. So yes, they did try harder last night because it's a cup final they're trying to get to. Yeah. But those last 3 matches were, as you say, it's hard to remember. There is a statistic, but it goes back a long way, probably 1966 or something, to have 3 3-0 defeats, one in a row, in a row.
Yeah. Tops.
As well.
Tops. Yeah, I mean, you can hear the frustration, with, Colin, Raz and Eltel and even myself. But why does Emery continue playing these players? Why does he continue playing these players if it's like he's trying to flog a dead horse and it's just the same result every single time?
To be honest, I don't think he's got much choice, to be fair. Like, you look at the options, like we seen last night, if Mourinho picks up a knock, then he has to play Mustafi. We've got nobody else. If Maitland-Niles got sent off against Leicester, we're going to have to either play Mustafi or Jenkinson right back on Sunday because we've got no other options. So until I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really blame Emery, to be fair, because this is not his team. He didn't get a lot of backing in the summer. 50 mil is a joke. Let's be real. We were 6th. 50 mil should not get a team who finished 6th to 4th to be a Champions League team. Not in this day and age when you've got teams playing 70, 80 mil on a goal. The fact that we're expecting 50 mil to improve the entire squad is so unrealistic. But fair credit to Emery and his coaching ability, because he somehow managed to get us either through the league or through Europa League a chance to beat a Champions League team, when by far we're not. You can see by the quality of our defence and our defenders that time and time again we make mistakes and concede sloppy, easy goals. And to be honest with you, it's what he's been left with. You know, we've had horrific injuries with Bellerin out for the season, Holding out for the season, Welbeck out for the season. So that's another thing he's had to deal with as well.
You can go by yourself.
And I just think the fact that he's having to deal with all this stuff and not get the money to back him to improve the squad. We've seen with Pep Guardiola, with Jurgen Klopp, they need money to improve the team.
Sorry, guys, bear me a second.
What's that? Yeah, the teams are not
frustrating.
He needs money. Yeah, it is frustrating. They need money to, to improve and get us to challenging titles and winning titles. And until he gets that, it's going to be very difficult for this Arsenal team to progress. And for me, I don't blame him. He can only coach them so far. If someone's not of top quality, like a Mustafi, then there's only so much you can get out of him. Yeah, you might get a good performance here or there. Like, to be fair, I thought he played okay last night. I thought he played quite well. But, against Brighton, it's going to be calamity. He's going to be causing all sorts of problems and mayhem like he did against Crystal Palace at home. So it's just that level of consistency you're not going to get with these quality of players. And until he ships them out, get some money for them, hopefully, and then we can buy better quality, I think we're always going to be let down by them, because they're just not the quality we need to be challenging for the league title, in my opinion.
Yeah. LTL, Godfather, I mean, just put a number. I mean, how many players do you think realistically Arsenal needs to get rid of? How many players? Give me
well, at the first team, there's only about 3 I'd keep. At the first team, I think eight should go. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you who's going to go as well. Baldy. Apparently,
I don't think so, Tel.
Well, listen, when we scored that last goal, which could be very important, I doubt if we'll get through, but you never know. That might be a really all-important goal. I'm on the same side as the sort of managers and Baldy and all that lot. So I didn't see, but apparently when Caceres and Emery were jumping in the air like everybody was that's an Arsenal fan, he was sitting still, stock still. Now, whatever he is, he can't be an Arsenal fan, can he? Do you know what I mean?
Goodness.
So, I mean, they're obviously watertight and they aren't telling us what's going on in that dressing room. And that's maybe a good thing, But I'm sure Baldy's going, and I'm sure Mickey knows he's going. Ozil was just not... I know, I watched him carefully last night. He didn't put it about. He was dispossessed several times when he should have put a little bit more effort in. And I think those guys, or maybe their agents have told them, look, we can read the writing on the wall and you aren't going to be staying. And, I know it's difficult to get rid of Ozil, and I do love Ozil at his best, but at this stage, he's not going to improve for us, and he's in a comfort zone. Get him out. When you compare our teams to like Leicester the other day, and they were busting a gut all over the pitch. And we've got, I was saying to the people near me, we're paying the highest season ticket prices, I think, in the world, yeah? And I love Ainsley. I think he's a cracking player for the future. He's originally a midfielder. So when he goes inside with the ball and moves forward, he looks wonderful. As a right back, he's done really well, but he's a rookie right back, Yeah. He doesn't know his angles, hence that second tackle on Maddison in the Leicester match. And I love him, and I love watching him play, and he's going to be a great player. But I should not be paying those season ticket prices and a rookie playing at right back. It's not good enough. When you think he had a chance and he brought in Lichtsteiner, who failed. He's got Carl Jenkinson, who obviously is not as good. And you're down to a midfield young lad of, what is he, 19, being played out of position. I mean, that shouldn't be happening at a top quality team like Arsenal.
But if I can join in and interject. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we know what what I relayed on Voice of Reason. as Arsenal fans, we know that the defence has been shaky for at least about, I say, 7 years, maybe a bit longer. Okay, we've always known about it. Now, it's apparent that we don't have that depth in the squad. Do you honestly think that Kroenke is going to have a conversation with Unai, or Unai's going to have a conversation with Kroenke to say, look, you've seen where we are with what I've got to work with. You know, try and help me out here. You know, meet me halfway. As I mentioned before, we had 2 billionaires in this club. Unfortunately, the one that drew more sympathy and rapport of the fans is not there anymore. We've got a guy at the top now who owns everything. Do you honestly think that he's going to say, you know what, Unai, I can see what's going on. We need to strengthen in the defence. We need a centre. We need some wingers. Here's the money. Tell me who you need and go and spend it.
Yeah, I see. Do you know what? I think it's gone beyond that now, because I forget what it's called now. It's STCC, but it used to be called Financial Fair Play. Yeah. And we're at the stage where we are very limited. Liverpool sold some good players, Coutinho and people, for big money, and then bought wisely, you know? Yeah. And we're at the stage now where we are hamstrung, really. There's only a certain amount of money we actually are allowed to spend. I think the problem with Kroenke is, and it infects the whole of the club, is that he is not interested in winning trophies. He's interested in making money. So you've got a whole echelon of players there, like Mickey, Ozil. They're interested in making money. They're not like these young kids who are playing for Crystal Palace who want to make a name for themselves. And I think it's subtle. It's a case of the big guys in the club are milking it, earning fantastic money, and now it's filtered into what should be our senior players. And deep down, some of them are going through the motions, as in those last three defeats.
But also, what's happened as well, the knock-on effect of that is the fact that we've become a high-risk target for all the lesser teams. Take us down, and we can turn Arsenal over, because we know they haven't got a good defence. We know their confidence are low. They know the history of Arsenal, but by the time they go on the pitch, because we've given them the incentive. And we've got, as you quite rightly mentioned about the fair play scheme, we're in the middle. We as fans, we buy the shirts, we go to the matches, and we've seen the deficiencies on the pitch, and we're powerless.
Yeah.
But you know, a thought just came to my mind. I'm just imagining Emery having a conversation with Kroenke, saying, "Look, we need more money to improve the squad." And just by chance, if Emery does manage to win our first European silverware in more than 25 years, Kroenke's probably thinking, "Well, hang on a minute, you've won a trophy with this team. You don't need any more money."
Yeah, catch 22.
I can imagine that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
In the meantime, the players that we want to get out of the team, they're sitting on it large, because they've got what they wanted. They've got something comfortable, like Eltel says. They're in a comfort zone. There's no one's going to push them out. They're not going to push themselves. The money's coming in easy. 350 grand a week. You're not, you know, does that really motivate you to go out and give your all on the pitch?
No, but that should be the manager's job. I mean, Colin, I remember the early part of the season when Emery would substitute players who weren't performing on the pitch. What's happened? He's not doing that anymore. He's not pulling players off the pitch if they're not performing. What's happened to Emery? Has he gone soft or something?
No, Alex, Emery has not gone soft, right? All that's happened is he's realised what we know full well. This squad is full of drop horses. And Emery's realised that. I honestly think that's all it is. That's all there is to it. Like, seriously, who can blame Emery in that instance? If he's realising he's got drop horses at his disposal, right? Why would he take one drop horse off for another? Do you know what I mean? Makes no sense. But here's the thing. I don't think Kroenke is going to have a massive say in, what players we sign and what players we don't. He's not involved in the club anyway. So I don't think that will change going forward. What's most likely going to happen is Raul and whoever they get as technical director, I know they're looking for one. It's going to be up to them to sort this mess out. And that's where we're going to see quite a few players go out. I think Mickey's gone.
Yeah.
Mustafi is probably gone. And thank God for that. Ramsey's going as well. Tech's retiring. So, I don't know if they're going to extend Lichtsteiner's deal or not. I mean, I don't know. They might.
I don't see the point in that.
They might not. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't. But, the option's there if we need it. We have two strikers that are the best around in Aubameyang and Lacazette. Me personally, I would build the team around Lacazette because I just think he's a better player than Aubameyang overall. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mean a better goal scorer. I mean better
His
as
work rate.
a better forward. Because I don't know if you have noticed this, right? But Aubameyang has ghosted most away games he's played this season.
Would you sell him, Colin?
No. No. I wouldn't sell him at all. Because, I mean, yeah, okay, he's ghosted most away games this season. And while he is pissing me off at the moment, he's still got 19 goals in the league. And here's another point that no one has mentioned yet. If Aubameyang and Lacazette have poor games, who else is contributing in terms of goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Can anyone name anyone? Because I certainly can't. Ramsey, maybe, but he's going. So that's that option out the door.
But I thought Mkhitaryan contributed a couple of goals before he got injured, Cole.
Exactly. His season's done. So there you go.
Yeah.
I asked that the window done. Mickey doesn't contribute enough. Honest to God, he had, a couple of good months of form? Now it's going to shit again? Yeah, okay, great. So, yeah, Mickey's probably gone. Iwobi's the only one that can take a man on. I don't care what anyone tells me. Iwobi is the only one in this squad that will run at teams. And that's a problem, right? I'm not saying Alex Iwobi is good enough. I'm not saying he's one of our better players. He's actually improved this season. But you can't rely on Alex Iwobi to be the only one to run at the opposition. You can't. Because you're going to suffer from burnout, and he's going to have a different form as a result of that. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
And besides that, he's out of Ozil, Mickey, and Iwobi's the only one really I see contributing out of those three. And I watched them all with a very keen eye, by the way. So that's the problem. That's the problem. You've got players that don't care. You've got one player in the whole squad that can run at the opposition, and you've only got, a threat at goal from two players in the whole fucking squad. Can someone tell me how that is a smart way to go about challenging for the top four? Please. Because I just don't get it. And by the way, when was the last time we actually had wingers that could beat a man? That could take men on, that could whip crosses into the box? The last two I remember are Sanchez and Nasri.
Yeah. You can't even count Wally Walcott on that, can you? You
No.
can't count it.
Hey.
You can't count Walcott, Alex.
Yeah.
You might as well call him offside Walcott.
Yeah.
Right? You know when the offside flag was, and every single time, right? Do you know what? This was what annoys me about Theo as well, actually. With his pace, you'd think he could take a man on, right?
Useless.
Could not take a man on for shit. That's just the thing. And do you know what? I'd probably put Ox in that category as well. Like, he could beat a man. He could beat a man from time to time, and he could cross the ball.
Good call. Yeah.
Decent shot.
The problem here that we have is, and I've noticed this myself when I've been playing Football Manager as well. Now, with Arsenal now, I'm repeating myself here, but you only have 2 goal threats in the entire squad, right? And that's Lacazette and Aubameyang, right? If those 2 have a bad game, who else in this entire squad is scoring?
Yeah.
Who else? And I've experienced this myself. Because on my own channel, if it's not Lacazette and Aubameyang who's scoring, nobody is. And that's where we are as a football club right now. Well, before we had at least 3 or 4 goal threats a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now we only have 2, and the majority of the time they're both playing on the pitch in the starting 11. And when you look at the bench, that's an even bigger problem because we're relying on the likes of Nketiah to change games for us.
Yeah.
Good point.
Dear me. Well, listen, let me take a quick. Well, 1 second. Let me take a quick pause for the cause. I just quickly go into the chat. There's been quite a few messages here. Quite a few from Ryan from the Mr. Arthur podcast. And he says, "What's with the sunglasses, guys? The belt is finally back, Colin." And I've got a message here for you, Colin, from Mube Guna. He says, "My guys, what's happening? We're here, Colin. I'm coming for the belt. So, Colin, watch out."
Yo, you want the belt, boy? Come and get it. Come and get it, seriously, Alex, we've got to do a show with you, me, and Mobe, right? That'll be fucking brilliant.
And there's some more from Ryan. Ryan says, "What's the panel's thoughts on the Lacazette stepping up in another big game situation and providing 2 goals last night? Does he merit the title of big game player?" Eltel, what do you think about that?
Absolutely, yeah. He's got fire in his belly. He's not there just to pull the money. He's a real winner. If you had another few like him, you would have a great. Can you imagine if you had somebody with that fire in his belly at the back and in midfield? I mean, there's a picture doing the rounds at the minute where he's carrying, I think, Aubameyang and Guendouzi after scoring a goal.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Make him Arsenal captain. He's carrying the team."
Do you know what? That's not a bad shout, actually. I mean, as I said it earlier, right? We should be building the team around him, but Lacazette as captain's not a bad shout. I mean,
do you not think that'd be too much of a distraction for him? Would that not be too much of a distraction? Because probably you would like a captain to be maybe a central midfielder or a central defender.
Alex, name me.
I mean, Thierry Henry wasn't the greatest of captains, was he? So,
Alex, honestly, name me one defender or midfielder that's a leader in the side.
I would go for Socrates. Seriously.
Socrates. He wasn't leading against Leicester. From what I saw, that 3rd goal was his fault, mate.
Wow.
And besides that, he's like, okay, he was good. He's bringing one of our better players, right? But that's not saying a whole lot because the majority of our players are shit, right? Yeah. But there's no. Nah. I'd make Lacazette captain. I would. Because we've not had someone that, leads by example since Alexis.
Yeah.
Honestly, because if you remember, before he left, right, Van Persie was captain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a captain doesn't necessarily have to be at the back or in midfield. That's an urban myth. Honestly, you don't have to be a Roy Keane, for example, shouting and bollocking everybody. That helps, but you don't have to be that type of captain. You can be the Alexis Sanchez type and lead by example. Do you know what I mean? And Lacazette's that type of captain. And I honestly think he should be considered for it. Whether or not he is the captain next season, I have no idea.
Well, I wouldn't mind him as captain. I'll be interested to see what the vibe is like in the dressing room, because some of those players need somebody grabbing them by the throat. And I think he might be the kind of guy to do it, and they do. They're on money that you and all of us here could work 10,000 lifetimes and never earn. Yeah? And they're just, they're letting everybody down. I think Lacazette might, as you say, you often don't have forwards, but I would give him a go. And if he can get that dressing room moving. I mean, the obvious, as Al said, the obvious person would probably be Socrates, but he picks up so many damn bookings. Yeah. And apparently we were warned about that. He's a bit loose, and you want your captain there. But then, I don't know. But we need a hell of a lot more than just a captain.
Yeah.
I think it might be too much.
That's the problem, right? Because when you look at the whole squad from top to bottom, right? Like you said, I could mention, 3 players, 4 at a push that I'd keep. Do you know what I mean? With this squad, right? Don't get me wrong. I've got complete faith in the manager, right? Have done since the start of the season, all right? But do I trust these drop arses to get us through the second leg against Valencia? No.
No, I'm exactly the same. After the match, people said to me, what do you think, 50-50? And I said, no, I still think it's slightly in favour of Valencia, maybe 60-40. It's whoever scores the first goal. In Valencia, that's the key. If we get the first goal, their heads will go down. But if they get the first goal, it's going to be a monumental task.
Yeah. Even with a 2-goal cushion, you still don't believe, Tel?
I believe, but while my heart says one thing, my head says if Valencia get a goal, that's 3-2. Then they know one more goal and they're through. So then we've got we're caught between do we stick or twist. So he's got to play it incredibly tight, and he's got to hope for a goal like we had in the previous match against Napoli, and then their heads will go down. But the first goal, the match will turn on the first goal in the second leg.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
I was going to jump in and say,
Raz, one second. Tops, what's your prediction for the second leg then against Valencia? Tops?
I think we might. I'm not. It's one of the things with Arsenal that you can't be certain that you're going to get a performance, especially away from home this season. If we can concede 3 goals to Leicester, 3 Wolves in one half, the Valencia are a much better team than both of them. And they were a good team. They should have scored more goals at the Emirates. So you think about how we're defending at home, away from home, like Terry was saying, if they get 1 goal, then the pressure is going to be all on us. So for me, I don't know. I think he could even go to extra time. I think we're capable of conceding 3 goals out there. We might maybe be able to nick an away goal, and he might go to extra time. To be honest with you, but I'm not confident. To be honest with you, I think if it was 2-0 like it was against Napoli, I think we get that away goal, then it kills the game. But because it's 3-1, they could easily beat us 2-0 at the Mestalla and they'd go through. So yeah, I'm not positive. I think I'm going to go probably 2-0 Valencia. I think they're going to get through, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping they're wrong. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, listen. Let's get on to the next segment, which was players who have won or who have worn the number 11 shirt. So currently we know it's Lucas Torreira. Previous to that, it was Colin's man, Mesut Ozil. Colin, who's been your favourite player who's worn the number 11 shirt for Arsenal?
There's been, I mean, well, it's not Mesut Ozil, I can tell you that. Favorite 11. Do you know what? Off the top of my head, like, I'm trying to think how many there's been and whatnot. And
shall I go through just some of the list of players who've won the number 11 over the last,
go on,
I'll say 10 years?
Rattle a few off, mate. Go on.
All right. So Andre Santos, Carlos Vela, Robin van Persie,
Sylvain Wiltord,
underrated player Sylvain Wiltord, Mark Overmars, Glenn Helder,
Eddie McGoldrick,
Paul Merson, O'Leary, Kevin Campbell.
Didn't Najee wear 11?
Say again?
Didn't Najee wear 11, or am I thinking someone else?
No, number 8.
No.
Number 8.
Oh, yeah.
Number 8.
I suppose if you're going to go through that team, although he wasn't with us very long, you've got to think of Mark Overmars, I'd say.
Yeah.
He was some player.
And Anders Limpar.
Anders Limpar.
I'm thinking about it now, right? I mean, even though he's on the back of my phone case, and I love the guy to bits, Torreira is not my favourite number 11, believe it or not. My favourite number 11 is without doubt Mark Overmars. And the reason why is he was one of those players that you just loved to watch. Like, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not, hell, even if you're a neutral, like, Mark Overmars was someone that you just love to watch. And I'll always have fond memories of him as well. So, yeah, Mark Overmars for me.
Okay. Tops, who's been your favourite number 11?
Well, I just said, I think it's Mark Overmars in that period of time. I mean, I remember him scoring the first goal against Newcastle in the FA Cup final, and I must have been right in line with where he shot it. And you know when you know it's going in, and there's like a half second where you think, we are going to score the first goal in a cup final. Do you know that magic moment, you know?
That feeling, yeah.
Great moments, you know. So, I mean, if you were to go back in the history, when I sort of started supporting him, we had a little bloke called George Armstrong. Totally two-footed, very strong. I mean, my favourite player of all time has to be George Best, and he obviously didn't play for Arsenal, but I thought he was the greatest player I've ever seen. But Geordie Armstrong had that two-footed quality, you know, and he could put the ball on a sixpence in the penalty area. And, you know, we see Iwobi, and he's great. He goes past people, but he hasn't yet learned, and he's still got time, but he hasn't yet learned what to do with it once he gets to the sort of byline. But Geordie Armstrong always had that skill, you know, and that's the one you need with any winger. They need to do all the dribbling, go past people, and then like we had last night with that last goal, Kolasinac finally put in a good cross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
And I'll tell just a few more actually, maybe more in my era. Liam Brady, Graham Ricks, Brian Kidd wore the number 11 as well.
Brian Marwood.
Quite a few years. Tops, who's been your favourite number 11?
Overmars is definitely up there, but I'm going to go with Sylvain Wiltord, to be honest with you. Underrated player. I always liked him. And scored some crucial goals, especially at Old Trafford.
Absolutely.
Big one. And he scored in the FA Cup there as well, the year we won it. 3. So, I did like him. He did score some crucial goals at crucial times. And obviously, we had the big man Thierry at the same time, as well as Dennis Bergkamp. So we kind of got of course, overlooked and undershadowed by them two. But for me, you definitely did his work underratedly, and out of the list that you named, I think he was probably my favourite, to be fair. So yeah, I'll say Wiltord, mate.
Yeah, Raz, who's been your favourite number 11?
Well, we met him, Charlie George, man. He's the guy.
Yeah, Charlie George.
He's the guy who started it off for me. You know, I stood there, and you was a bit too young to remember, but Mum and Dad, they were both wanted to know who's going to win the FA Cup final, and Dad put his hand up. Who's going to follow him? No one put their hand up. Mum put her hand up, said, "Who's going to win? It's going to Arsenal." And she put her hand up, and I put my hand up. I didn't know. And I stood there watching the TV and saw Stevie Highway score their goal. And then he went on, and then we got the equaliser through George Graham.
Yeah.
And then Charlie George. When he dropped that ball and he laid down, I was thinking, well, that's it. That is it. That's the main man. And I saw him like years later walking through Islington, but I was a bit too scared to go up to him because he just, to me, he was like God. Him, and I must admit, with Eltel, Eltel probably remembered George Best used to do programs on BBC One about how to be a striker and a midfielder. This is back, obviously, way back when. So they were my two favourite players, but Charlie George for me started it. Further on, I like Anders Limpar because his link play with Ian Wright. Ian Wright always said how he got half his goal through Anders Limpar. So Anders Limpar was another one.
But listen, if we're going to talk about Charlie George, now you two brothers and me all went to Highbury Grove School, didn't we?
Yeah,
and Charlie George went to our rivals, Holloway
Road.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the quick Charlie George story, which I don't think I've told before. I had a cousin who a couple of years older than me, and she told me a few years ago her mum turned 90. And I was talking, her name's Pat, and I was talking to her, and she's a big Arsenal fan. She said, I used to go out with Charlie George. I said, no. She said, yeah, but she said, we're only 14, and nobody had heard of him. And she said, I never even knew he was a footballer. And one day Charlie went to her, he said, Pat, I can't meet you next week. I've got training. And she said, training? What, are you training dogs or what? What do you mean training?
Brilliant.
I'll probably go for tops Wiltord because the important goals he scored at Old Trafford there, and he's an underrated player, so underrated. So yeah, I'll go for Sylvain Wiltord. Just a couple more messages in the chat. There's one here again from Mube. He's gone for Van Persie. And he also says the match last night, he thought Guendouzi was a little bit suspect in his performance. And there's one here from the English Conversation Club. And they're saying, where's Arsenal and Chill? Colin? Top?
We've been through it.
Come on, man.
Oh, my God. Do you know what, right?
Come on.
I mean, I mentioned it in the beginning, and I'm not mentioning it now. So, if you want to know what the story is with it, go back and watch.
There you go.
The whole thing from
the start,
from the beginning, and you'll get why. But
you
know what? A big up English Conversation Club as well. Like, guy's always in the chat, and he's
yeah. All right, so the last segment. So Arsenal against Brighton. It's going to be Arsenal's last home game. And as Colin said, it'll be so typical Arsenal that we beat Valencia and come Sunday, they trip up over themselves and they lose against Brighton, who are still not safe from relegation. Eltel, what's going to happen on Sunday? Are you going on Sunday, Eltel?
I'm going Sunday, but I would think that Emery will work backwards. He'll pick his team against Valencia.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, I should have interjected earlier. You must remember, Emery obviously has a great record in this competition. So although it's going to be close, I would think we've all got great hope because this guy knows how to win this competition. So I think he'll work backwards. He'll pick his team for the Valencia match, and then he'll say, right, who do I need to rest? Who do I need to play? For instance, Guendouzi now, he went off after an hour last night. And I reckon that was a preset, and he wanted to bring on Torreira after that. So, because he wanted him reasonably fresh. So I think he'll work backwards and he'll pick that Valencia team, the Arsenal team against Valencia, and then he'll see. I mean, I personally would love to see Eddie Nketiah get a run out.
Yeah.
Not to start, but to be brought on. The guy's lively. He takes people on. Nobody knows how he plays. Defenders hate playing against players they haven't seen before, So I'd play him. They'll probably play, I don't know. Just a case of not overplaying players, really. He's going to have to pick it. He'll play Leno in goal. He might not play. He might give Lacazette only 60 minutes or something, and just try and rest these players. Because if we're going to win in Valencia, we need both forwards playing, because they definitely look once they got the ball, which is very rarely, but when they got the ball, they really frightened Valencia. There was a purple patch where we could have scored 2 goals. And do you remember the one where Lacazette went down on his knees almost to head it?
Yeah.
And somehow he missed time. Yeah. 1 or 2 goals there, and you would be talking about a 5-1 win, and a tie over. So whatever team he plays, he will look at the game after. But he does want to win it, because if the Valencia one does go belly up, he will want. You don't want to get through to the end of the season and think if we'd have only beaten Brighton, we could have been placed. You know. Yeah.
Okay, just a couple more chats. Message in the chat. We've got one here from Josie Donko, and he says, "Does that mean that you guys don't see us making top 4 and just prioritize in the Europa tops?"
Yeah, it's one of them ones where I don't think Chelsea are going to win both of their games, but I just don't trust Arsenal to win both of ours. It's just as simple as that. Like, based off the last week and the fact that we got no points out of the possible 9 against the teams that we face, it's just not good enough. And yeah, as Colin was saying, like, these players can drop off whenever they feel like it. And our away form's abysmal as well. I don't know if we beat Burnley away, and we might only beat Brighton at home. So for me, I don't think we're going to get it through the league. I don't think we'll be in the Champions League next season, to be honest with you. I don't think we'll win Europa League, and I don't think we'll get based off the budget. If we put 30-40 more million to spend on a few better quality players or a quality winger to help out with the goals, like Colin was saying, we'd be in the top 4 already. But there's this heavy reliance on Aubameyang and Lacazette to keep scoring every game. Aubameyang's got 25 goals, and Lacazette's got 18, nearly 20 goals. And the next top scorer is 6. I think it's Mkhitaryan joint with Ozil, joint with Ramsey. They've all got 6 goals. So you've gone from 18 to 6. It's just not good enough. Like, you got to have someone else chipping in. So for me, I don't personally think we'll get top 4 through the league or Europa League, to be honest with you.
Eltel, there's a question for you in the chat from the English Conversation Club, and they're asking you, do you think I think I know the answer. Do you think Ozil should be sold?
Yep. I love the player. At his best, he is sublime. But he's not a team player. And in a game where you've only got 11 players, you can't play with 10 and a half.
Yeah.
And he doesn't pull it out in the big matches. He's frightened to put his body in the line of, getting kicked around a bit. And I love the player and I love his style, but unfortunately we aren't playing snooker. This is a stand-up, whack into each other sport. And that's not. I'm not talking about fouling. It's just a game where you've got to have some beef about you. And he hasn't got it. And I think they'll do some sort of deal where we might have to pay half some of his wages to whichever club he goes to. Yeah. But then you have a big hole because you need somebody who's really creative. And I know from what I've read online, they are scouring the world to find 1 or 2 good creative players on top of what we have. Because once Ozil goes, it's a bit of a lack of creativity. Yes, he will bring in wingers, and he loves to spread the play wide, which most of the modern coaches do anyway. And you need good wingers for that. But I don't know. I read today that Ozil said, "I'm not going. I've got 2 years of my contract left."
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I could take two more years of him avoiding tackles. You know.
Right. Sorry, Raz. What's your assessment for Sunday versus Brighton?
I'm going to do a Ramsey. I'm going to go like this because I don't know. I don't know what team's going to rock up. You know, as I said before, I thought that a bit of steel would have been necessary against Leicester, Wolves, and Crystal Palace. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. You know, at heart, I'm optimistic. I like to think that it's a home match. Let's face it, Brighton are fighting for their lives, so they're going to put everything. They're going to leave everything on the pitch, and we have to match them. But at the same point, we don't want anyone being like injured or anything as well, because we've got that Valencia match coming up as well. So I'm optimistic. I think that we'll probably put something out of the bag again, just to be confident for Thursday. And then Thursday, to me, is a real acid test. I think Thursday, like Tel says, it depends who scores first. If they score first, then they're going to be in the ascendancy. But if we score first, then we're going to be we can control the game. So Sunday, I think we're gonna win. But don't ask me what the score is going to be because.
Right, Colin. Before I get your prediction, there is actually a comment here which leads on to something. Josie is saying that honestly, I don't think wingers is our problem. More of not a good enough midfield creativity wise. We need more. We need a more dynamic player than Özil. A ball carrier when coming deep and run at the opposition. So he's saying that basically our problem is not the wingers. It's not the wingers.
It is, all right, because you don't have enough goals in the team outside of Lacazette and Aubameyang. Now, he's right in the sense that you need to reinforce the midfield. I'm not disputing that, all right? But even if you do that, you need to increase the goal output of this team. Like, for instance, tonight, I'm watching the Everton game, right? And Richarlison's just put he's put Everton 2-0 up, by the way, right? Now, think about how Richarlison would do in this Arsenal team, right? He scores goals, and with Aubameyang and Lacazette, you increase the goal output, but you also need another one for the opposite side. Now, are we going to get Richarlison? Probably not. Probably not. But the thing is, if you add to the midfield by adding another creative player, you need to increase the goal output as well. So it's a bit of both. You add wingers, you add another midfielder to supply those wingers. Fantastic. Got no issue with that.
Prediction for Sunday, Cole?
Oh, I mean, it'd be so Arsenal to just drop Arsenal weekend. It really would be. My head's saying 1-1 for whatever reason. But I'm going to go with my heart this time. 2-0.
2-0. 2-0. Okay.
2-0
Right.
to Arsenal, yeah.
Okay.
I know. If it goes perfectly, you can blame me. It's fine.
Okay. LTL, prediction for Sunday.
I reckon 3-1.
3-1. 3-1. Tops, prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal. I think we'll just about do it.
Raz? Sorry, mate.
All right, let's have a clean sheet. Let's say 2-0.
Okay. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal. English Conversation Club says 4-1 in the chat. Nah, not 4-1. I can't see that happening.
No.
I can't see that happening.
Okay, if Aubameyang on the 4-1, right? If Lacazette and Aubameyang, right, have an off game, right? Where are we getting 4 goals from?
That's not.
Yeah. Nah.
I mean,
Nah,
no
that's
offense, bro, but I don't see us scoring 4 goals. We can barely score like 2 at the minute. You know, fine, okay, we got 3 the other night, but I mean, you look at the team in the league, it's like it just lacks that. It just lacks cutting edge, man. I don't see us scoring 4.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah. All right. Joe says, come back at you, Colin. He says, yes, but if you look at today's midfielders, Colin, they're more all-round. Look at Madrid under Zidane. Cruz and Modric really scored. They were more reserved to cover bombing fullbacks, but I understand, especially depth-wise. I understand, but not gonna make a fuss of it.
I could pick so many holes in that argument, but I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not gonna, right? Because I'm in a good mood tonight. So
yeah, just let it slide, man. Let it slide. Let it slide. Let it slide.
Listen, Giles is a good guy, man. Honestly,
he is.
We disagree quite a fair bit, but the thing about it is we don't let it get to childish insults. So we're kind of, we have differing opinions. I respect his. I would hope he respects mine as well. At least I'm hoping he does. But it's all good, man. It's all good. We're all Arsenal fans. We all want the team to do well. Whether or not that's us getting wingers in the summer, whether that's us getting midfielders, as long as Arsenal do well, I'm happy. I couldn't really care in all instances, to be honest.
Yeah, here. Eltel, guess what?
Yeah. What?
There's 2 games to go. We're in 5th. It's dark outside, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Don't take them off.
It's actually not dark. It's actually pretty bright.
It could be rough.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna call it quits on this version of Easy Talk. But before I do, Tops, again, I want to say a big thank you for coming back onto Cannon Fodder. Always good to see you, and I hope at some stage Arsenal and Chill can come back.
We'll see, lads. We'll see. All right, but you know what? Consistently asking about it doesn't help the situation. And I'm sure I speak for Tops in that as well.
I can only try. You know what I mean?
You know what? Keep trying out. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep trying. It's all good, bro. It's all good.
So, Tops, thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Good to have you. Yeah. RAZ, thank you for coming back on the show. It's been a long while since you've been on the Easy Talk, hasn't it?
A long while, but as soon as I come back in, catching up with you guys, it's complete.
Yeah,
it's complete. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and like I said, of course, RAZ is doing the voice of reason until just holding, Colin's chair, just keeping it warm until Colin comes back.
RAZ is just holding the throne, man. I'll be back to reclaim my throne.
Hey, listen, Colin. Sometimes some usurpers can be overthrown. You see that?
See, RAZ, bro. Okay.
It's Friday. Come on, guys.
In UFC terms, you're interim title holder. I'm the real title holder.
That's like fighting talk, but it's all love, though. It's all good.
It's all good. That's all good.
Colin, again, thanks for coming back on Cannon Fodder, man. Always good to have you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Listen, Alex, it's all good, man. Honestly, I'm always reachable. Like, if I've got time to come on, I will. Like, it's that simple. But as far as MUTCH FM goes, because that is, it's actually doing really, really well at the moment.
I've seen.
It came really close to winning the league. I'm still disappointed about that, by the way. But, I mean, a Europa League isn't that bad from our first season, is it? Well,
it's pretty damn good.
I mean, it's not so bad. But regardless, yeah, the Arsenal save will be coming back at some point. I've made some signings and I've improved the team as well. I'm not going to tell you who those players are, but just know they're good additions and they add goals. So there's that. And I've also got the online save with Chig coming on Sunday, which we're recording tomorrow. So that should be fun. I'm Newcastle manager and he'll be Leicester manager. So yeah, it's going to have a good feel. It's going to be more of a podcasty type feel, I think. I don't know. I've not discussed it with him yet. But either way, we're going to have a lot of fun. And whether or not Arsenal turn up on Sunday makes no difference to me because I'm being used to the fact that they are, as my boy Ola would say, the Santa Claus of the league. So, yeah, not great.
Not great. Not great. But let's hope for better things on Sunday. Eltel, the Godfather.
Yeah. I mean, lads, I think we should finish on an upbeat because you know what? We should win against Brighton. There's nothing stopping us. We've got a cracking forward line. And if we won that and then went and got a decent result out in Valencia, then the team is building, the confidence is there, and we'd polish off the final game. So you know what? Let's keep it upbeat. Let's throw the dark glasses off and let the sun shine in. We're in May.
Fantastic. Nice one, Eltel. Yeah. So yeah, you heard it. And from 4 guys, well, actually 4 sunglasses and 1 belt. What more do you guys want? What more do you want?
Next time, can we have 4 belts and 1 sunglasses?
Why not? Why not?
I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
Tell.
I'm the one about the belt.
I'm trying to finish it.
How about Colin getting the beers in?
Actually, you know what, right? Since me and Tops are the quote-unquote tag team champions of Arsenal Twitter, he might as well get his own belt and, we'll post that shit on Twitter and we'll just, take the piss. But hey ho. Oh, boys.
Anyway. So again, whoever came into the chat, we thank you so very much. Who came and just saw this terrible channel, Cannon Fodder, with all these wonderful guests. We thank you so very much because, like I always say, without any followers, subscribers, there can never, ever be a Cannon Fodder TV. But for me and the panel, we are out.